Oh, my lawn. Yeah. Hello! Hi, welcome to my tiny little tube. Welcome to my tube! Welcome to my tube! My name's Marge, I'm a oak empath. I just like having these little talks, conversations on the way I feel about things. Thanks to the contribution, me and Ma. I'm going to go ahead and do the 49.51 on this one. We'll keep 49% and pay 51% forward. In some way, in some way. I'll think of something, I always do. So, I'm on pins and needles, walking around on eggshells. I need to get runners. Rugs for the slick surfaces. Tucker got excited at breakfast and came down wonky, twisted something, and he's prone to back injury. It's a little puppy mill puppy. You know, we're just little stress babies. Artie's prone to it too. You know, it's a degenerative thing. It's a stress thing. So I had Luna got nervous at 4th of July, and when I lived in Oregon, the vet gave me a few tranquilizers for, and there was one of those left. I gave him a half of one, so he's resting comfortably. I just want him to not move. I just want him to rest, and that's what he's doing. He did go out, and he freaking uno dosed. He produced. So, you know, he's just really unsure in the back end, and it's hard to watch. I'm so glad I never had children. Oh my goodness. You know, I never had kids. Every now and again I disclose why I never had kids. Because there's plenty of times I considered it. Like, I've been through more painful situations. I could do it. But it's that one time they look at you and they're like, I hate you. And they mean it. That would break my heart. My heart would just dissolve and fall apart. So I didn't ever want kids for that reason. I don't care about all the other good stuff that comes with it. You know, we're all just little heartbreaks waiting to happen, confounded. So it was a busy day in the day of numbers, in the world of numbers. A lot of people self-sacrifice. It's so weird. Dude, is everybody a pawn? Is everybody playing a role? Freaking makes me sad to think that people are just playing roles, you know? That there's so many people that just opted to play the background people, the plastic people, the scenery. It's just the way the astrology goes. More disclosure, more reveals, more truths are being revealed, you know? Bezos is stepping down. That one was almost predictable, I think. I think that one was almost predictable. So, I posted a picture of a UAP on my Instagram account. A UFO in the clouds, veiled in the clouds. I've been doing that for a while. You know, it's so funny how some of us have lived these storylines. These are our realities. These are our worlds. These are our everyday. And people dip into it every now and again, and they try it on. They're like, ooh. But because they have more shadow aspects in themselves than light aspects, they begin to encompass more of the shadow side of that stuff. You know, I don't do that. I don't do that one bit. You know, you don't hurt people. These are just, you don't cause harm to other living beings. You don't impose your will over things. You know, live and let live. How many instances does that not happen every single day? Is it somebody is like, no, don't do that. I grew up, my whole life was like people telling me how not to be. How not to be. Don't do this, don't do that. I'm just like, can I get a fucking ultimate list? Can I get a master list of how not to behave? And then I figured out there's just the freaking asshole in the room that just is going to make you dance like a puppet because he can, because he's the head of the room. Not much spirit in that, I don't think. So how do you like your disclosure? For everybody, it's going to be different. Everybody's going to have their own disclosure in some capacity. They're going to have a realization, a scene that they never saw before. A perspective of the earth, the cosmos, that they never ever considered. One of those, what? Really? Duh. It's going to be different for everybody. That's the thing. It's not not everybody has the same course of action, you know. We all have like this checklist. I used to see them on Facebook. You know, you get a point for have I ever? Get a point for have I ever? My have I ever list is different. Anyway. But thank goodness for shows like that. I don't know, 95 was not. They can't all be rad shows. They can't all be rad episodes. But it was good to see Naked and Laughing there. A familiar face. That sucks that was her first one, because that one was hard for me. That was hard for me. Just because all I heard was a guy that was really hurt, and he just wanted everyone to know it. How much. And I'm like, man, do I come across like that? I aspire to rise above my pain. I aspire to have daily disciplines and practices that help me get beyond it. Today I got to meditate state. I did a good one. There was like a Rasa Lusa did a collaboration 3 years ago with Joe Tracy or one of those, and so it was a good 50 minutes or so that I connect with God. See, I pray all day long like a little weird kid. God, please help me. Please God help me. Please God help me. All day long, right? I'm always weird kid praying all day long. And the way I see it and what I always understood it is meditate state was receiving the answers which you pray for. Isn't that neat, Ma? You ever heard that before? No? Really? I thought it was like common state. I thought it was like commonplace. Common something or other. So I want to thank you, I feel it, from Awakened Reality channel. What? Oh, okay, right on. I go by logo, so sometimes name is a no-go. Oh, okay, thank you. Welcome to my tiny tube. We be raiding. Thank you. I appreciate your. See, I love when people connect. See, this is the thing that this is how I believe in frequency. Frequency. Even if you don't hang out for years and years, even if you just pass through, hit the like, that's like a high five, right? And that adds to my vibe, my vibrational field. And see, the thing of it is my vibrational field has connected with so many cool beings in my lifetime that is a huge network of high vibe. So the more people come by, say hey, because I'm Heyoka at some point, you know, I'm full spectrum. I piss people off. It's what I do. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I feel things sometimes, and I say things because I tune in on stuff, And then, oh, there they go. You did it again, Marge. Was it something I said? Yes, it always is something I say. You know, people like the truth speaker until they they say something that like hits home and like is personalized, and then they're like, "Fuck you." Excuse my I'm trying not to. I cuss when I get fired up. So, Al Bundy. That's cool. It is a ripple effect. See, I've been picking up this stuff, and I've been trained my whole... I was the little degenerate that slipped up through the cracks of society. Hung out in corporate America. I was in the Air Force. I did all this stuff. You know, I was in Operation Iraqi bullshit on the island of Crete. Stayed in a big fancy hotel. Did all this stuff. Only to decide it's a bunch of horse shit up there, and then went back down and then the freaking cracks. Now me and Ma hang out. Ma likes to watch her Longmire. You want to hear about a beautiful synchronicity? If you're new to my story, it started in January 18th. We left Salem, Oregon for the next chapter in the course of our lives. We landed in Arizona for a little while. And then, through Maja astrology, came across this place in northern New Mexico. Okay? I had money in the bank. We needed a place to go, and we could... God assigned us here in northern New Mexico. So when we got here, it was like very... There's a few synchronicities that happened when we got here. One of them, there was a box on the counter because the lady she's my friend now. She was my landlord. Now she's my friend. we didn't have utensils and stuff like that when we got. So somebody donated some to her. So she left them on the counter. Now my name's Margaret by given name. It was a given name. There was a Margaret on both sides. It was an appointed name. I go by Marge. Margie. Marge in charge. Not so large in charge, Marge. Anyway. On the box, it was from a company in Tulare, California. And Tulare, California is where my Aunt Margaret... She went by Nanya. She lived for years and years and years. You know? So, where God wants us, we're going to end up there, right? So, when I started my journey down here, there was a reason why I was going to say that, Ma. Maybe it'll come back to me, huh? But we ended up here, right? And we are in latitude, because I believe in frequency. Same vibe tribe, same frequency tribe. That goes along the lines is like, I go by latitude and longitude. A lot of people go by Earth grid lines and things like that. But I go by latitude, longitude. And I've spent a lot of time in my life up on the 40th parallel. Oregon's the 45th parallel. And it's always plus or minus 2. You know, if you get plus or minus 2, then they're in your alignment, you know. And sometimes you'll meet people throughout the course of your life, and you ask them places they've been, and you guys have just missed, you know, in a lot of cases, you know. It's all so wonderfully, beautifully, it's just all, that stuff is cool, you know. It's when the people manipulate it, that's the part that freaking bums me out. It's a bummer deal. You know, people play with other people's lives, you know. That's the stuff it's really going to be a hard time to triage for folks, right? It's going to be hard to help console those people. Have you ever seen a person that's inconsolable? Have you ever been inconsolable, where you've been in such a state that there is nothing that on this earth that is going to make you feel better? There's a lot of people that are coming more into those feelings and these emotions, you know, because we're human beings, but we're spirits first. traveling through the course of these existence one after the other, sometimes history in the past and past in the future. Doesn't matter, the orders don't matter. But people don't recognize the baggage that and what they do, the behaviors in which they do, just like cheating, lying, just that cheating, just that. I learned from a young age the consequence of living a disingenuous life. Acting in one way, being another. The two-faced. People talking out the neck. People who depend on whatever region you're in. Too many people live in lies in the veil. We're stepping into a lot of Aquarius energy. It's not Aquarius season, not for another 125 years. Yet, this is just a little taste. So what you do now, wherever your spirit is in 125 years, you're going to get a freaking, oh yeah, I did what? People are rising above. People are stepping into it, man. They're stepping into their power. A lot of people are scared because they're thinking like these dark thoughts. And I want to address something. When I was in the Air Force, I did all the extracurricular crap I could possibly do. I did everything I possibly could. And they had this 2-day course, and it was like a 16-hour course, and I got a little thing to put in my wallet. It says, I went through suicide, whatever, awareness, whatever, thanks Uncle Sam, blah, 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 And it didn't really teach me anything. See, the first time, because when you grew up in an environment like I do, it's like an everyday thing, Pain, suffering, people just want it to stop. And for a long time, people got ways to avoid it for a long time. Ignore it, stuff it. Alcohol, and look at all Big Pharma made it possible for this day and age for people to just freaking dumb themselves down to the lowest possible vibrational frequency next to dead and just existing, and there's no spirit in that. But the thing of it is, spirit remembers, and it wants to vibe high, and it wants to excel, and it wants to expand, and it wants to create. Oftentimes really cool shit. So a lot of people are detoxing. I'm so happy to see. I'm so happy to see, man. I'm so happy to see. What was that? Forks Over Knives? It's a cool app. I have it on my phone. It has a lot of, people making healthy life choices, and they're getting out and they're getting, I can already feel the shift in energy. The temperature is supposedly the same, but it feels like freaking the sun feels like it's closer. Feels warmer to me up in northern New Mexico. So people are going to get all energized, and hopefully they put that energy to good use and burn up some of that karmic nastiness. I was 200 pounds. I'm only 5'2". I used to be 5'3 3/4, but I got degenerative arthritis in my spine, and I've lost some. I was already height impaired, and I had this short man's complex and stuff like that, and so God was like, what are we going to do to make you shorter? I'm only small in stature, though, man. I'll freaking run up somebody like a little monkey. I don't got nothing to do with nothing. Anyway. Yeah, we got our Christmas. You can still see the Christmas tree. It's one of those with the little fiber optic things on the end. I gotta freaking climb across the futon to plug it in, and I don't do that, but we'll just leave it on. So, a lot of people are gonna wake up to stuff that's real painful and real uncomfortable, and that's why I so openly and freely speak about the shit that my soul sack has been a witness to and a part of in my incarnate. We don't gotta take that stuff with us. I like to tap into it every now and again, just because it's a small group, you know, and I don't find any shame of anything that has ever happened to me in my life. Not even when I was the dirty little kid that went to school that had lice. It wasn't my shame. It was other people. They tried to appoint their shame upon me. I would never be the recipient. I would never pick it up. You know? It's always the weird little kid. But you know what? I also ended up at Offutt Air Force Base. Hanging my arm out the aid shop door, flipping off Baby Bush on 9/11. What are you doing, Marge? I'll be there in just a minute. As he taxied by. Because maybe, there's just a slight chance that he's going to look out the window and he's going to see somebody, and that was me, Marge. Because I knew I knew it was all crap. It's always crap. They always make stuff up. And then they make us pay for it. For our own good. For our own safety. Are people figured it out yet? Safety is an inside job. Safety is between you and God. Security, you and God. And I think about the reindeer games perpetuated based on the whole system of making people fearful and insecure. I worked for a company called G4S. Later, dude. And third largest, is security company, you know. And it's just, who are they protecting often? And then now the storyline continues, you know. The world is going to be a very, very different place. Very, very different place. Here in a very short time. For whatever reason, because we're going to manifest it in our own lives. My life is already, I don't know how I ended up in I ended up on a in Marge Astrology in a chat going, I need a place for me, mom, and the dogs and the cat, me and the critters. And then somebody saw it, put their email address up, and we ended up here. States over. You know, wherever God assigns us, but I'm still on the same latitude, plus or minus 2 from where I was born. And mom, longitude, mom was born in El Paso, Texas. Same latitude, or longitude. Wait, yeah, longitude. So, latitude, longitude from both of our birthplaces. Isn't that funny? I think that's funny. Dude, the story that we manifest for our lives are pretty wild. My brother and my dad, they were born in the same 19-room hospital in a little city named for a mud hole in central coastal California. Stories are just freaking wild, man. How many people, you know, I don't know a lot of, not these day and age, this day and age, a lot of people born that the parents are born in the same place that the kids are. Like, especially in the same, such a small, you know, not this day and age, but. Bundy's a veteran too. That's cool. That's cool. I want to meet, I got guys that are like airborne that subtly watch my videos that were airborne and like, that have emailed me and stuff like that, you know, the first responders. And I'm looking for the like 550, 600 guys, 500, 5 to 600 that came back, the Marines. If I ever come across those guys, you know, for Operation the first sweeper people. I saw what happened to them, man. I had to freaking support the mission around these guys because they just left them in the hangar. They just all brought them back in the hangar and then just left them there. We don't know what to do with them. They just killed all these people. Let's just leave them in the hangar for several weeks. As their freaking psychological fabric just continued to dissolve. It was hard to watch. That's when I knew it was bullshit. That's when I realized I got a bunch of pictures, you know. all the manufactured Humvees and stuff, all the freaking tools for war to go in and decimate fucking, and it was, and somebody said earlier they thought it was for technology. For whatever reason, you don't kill people. And I, for one, sorry for my part, and all the harm caused, and all the lives lost, in the name of bullshit. They make us love our country, and then they make us do weird fucking shit in the name of our country, and a lot of people that go in the military, man, we just want a freaking job, or I did it for an education. People have whatever reason, steady paycheck, and then once you get in, you start realizing that all the money goes to the freaking higher ups. It's just another corporation, because people are living in freaking shitty environments and base housing. Now they just give you, and I guess, I don't know, when I got out there, just gave you extra allowance so you could just go pay extra to live, or buy a house or do whatever. But they never, thank you. There's see, I was there at Operation Iraqi bullshit. Yeah. I went up, and I was like, woo, yeah, because I was always a mechanic in my mind. I love mechanical and engineering and shit, right? And I did a video a couple years back. You can see where it hit me, because I was still in that 3D world, because I gave a pilot a ride across the flight line there, and he, I'm like, where you headed, big guy? Yeah, he's like, over there, and I was like, oh shit, to the B1, and then I was like, can I go up in the can I see the cockpit? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? What's she gonna do? What's this do? So I got to go in the cockpit, clearance, schmearance, fucking whatever. That's only to get people in trouble that people don't like. People tried to get me in trouble there too. I was only there like 42 days, and 2 people, they tried to get me up like, it was some bullshit insubordination crap, and people always just like to yell at me. Anyway, and then I was doing a video one time, and you could see where it hit me that I was up in that cockpit, and then like I got the vibrational frequency of like the pilot, and like how many collectively people he was responsible for killing, and how many people didn't deserve to die. And like you could see like my like the blood left my face. I was just like, see, I'm Heyoka. I transmute negative energy. So but where else are you gonna? But that's the thing, is people want to transmute negative energy only in positive places, and that's not the world we're living in. I always been the kind of light worker that always goes into the darkest, seediest shit. I remember when Jason, kid I went to school with, his dad, I was 7th grade. His dad got up, everybody was watching TV. His dad got up, walked into the other room, put a gun in his mouth, and blew his head off, or whatever he did, and then he was gone for a week and came back, and I saw how everybody avoided him. And I remember he had like white Levi's. I'm like, dude, I couldn't wear white Levi's, But at least I talked to him. I mean, couldn't you? And it's just like, I was that weird kid that like, but people I don't think found out about all the fucking weird shit that I had experienced growing up, all the violence and stuff like that. I don't think people would know about it at all if I didn't tell them. So. And then it's so weird because they like normalize, and desensitize people from, and people in the USA are desensitized by food, their video games. Everybody's all desensitized, and then it's just like, love thy neighbor. It's just like, but people don't have no spirit because they don't got nothing to tap into. They don't got no God. Because we're people that always feel bad. Like me, the vibrational frequency of love, I had to find my own love language. Because the vibration is like up here, us trauma kids, however old you are, you know. Surprises, you know, surprise parties aren't always good. You know, you kind of got to assess the thing. And, you know, everybody's calling it post-traumatic stress, you know. I hate clinical terms and shit like that. Alphabet soup. No. Everybody's stressed out about something. Everybody, and if you haven't been, that's the part. That's where I see the great divide. People that haven't gone through shit, you don't understand. And so, since people don't understand, usually they like to talk down to people. They like to make people look smaller because they don't get it. You know, well, that's all right if you don't get it. It's not for you to understand. You know, you're not for triage. And to see all these, like, these clinical professionals and stuff like that read books and they're going to come out and step up and help all the freaking, the you know, put back the pieces together based on ingredients. What are we, a cake? Okay, well, if somebody lived through this, and this, and had this many, then you probably shouldn't say things like this and this. And, you know, what are we, a cake? What are we, ingredients? You know, human beings aren't Gantt charts, you know. And so many people are I feel bad for the people that avoid their emotions and feelings and don't know how to process them and don't know understand what they are. I was talking about another big, huge synchronicity. About how I knew. Mom, when we lived in, Mom's been watching Longmire on Netflix, and then I just finally bought the DVDs for like 2 years. 2 years. 2.5 years. Long time where it got to, it's like, you know, for a while she had asked to watch like Grey's and, you know, other shows, and then finally it was just Longmire, right? And I think that she just like, I don't know, for whatever reason, she just loves it. So got the DVDs, and then got, you know, and I dip in and out storylines, and it's given me a lot of knowing and stuff like that, and how things really are. Oh yeah, that makes sense. And then, but it's recorded in New Mexico, and I think that is so funny. It's like we're like wherever God wants us, we're just like magnets, in our energy fields, you know, and it's made possible. It's made possible. Dude, I couldn't have done it without this my tiny tube. It was contributors to the tube that made my whole move happen. It's all been beautifully orchestrated. Now I finally feel like some stress relief, you know, and, you know, I can breathe. You know, I don't feel like I'm being threatened. You know, it's just been a nightmare. It's been a long, hard road. But see, the thing of it is, if I could manage to keep my sense of humor about me and my positive disposition, then I don't see no reason why anybody else can't rise above their stuff too, you know. And I agree with you. I think that people use the God to justify their own shit habits. That's why I keep trying to drop my habits. I'm a drunk that doesn't drink. There, by the grace of God, go I. I don't do pills. The VA put me on a couple of pills that made me nutty. I gotta say. I didn't like. Actually, my nutty is when I say, F the spirit in me. Here, I'm going to let my ego run the show. Self-will run riot. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want. You know? Oh, that's a gluttonous Marge I don't like. I tapered myself off the one I read where in studies in the UK, they had that people that used it was like a 31% suicide rate. I think a lot of, see, pills and shit, it's my understanding, puts your vibrational frequency in a low vibe. And then you're going to get these little freaking demons attached to you. And they're going to tell you to do stupid shit. Like and all that stuff. See, God don't want nobody to freaking hurt themselves or anybody else. That's low vibrational behavior. That's all nefarious That's all evil shit. You know, you don't believe in evil shit and evil entities and demons and all that stuff. Just freaking put in Jesse Zaboter freaking interviews. We're just all puppets in their pawn, you know. Some of us are a little bit more divine. Have you ever had the instance where you're talking to people and they are literally like I've done this, like, hello, do you see me? And I feel like I got Harry Potter's freaking invisibility cloak over me. Like, people really, hello? Because people really vibe and they see in frequency. You know? It's a trip, man. All this stuff, the powers that be have always said that stuff ain't real, that stuff ain't true, and lock people up for talking about it and all this stuff, right? The reality of it is that they themselves use it, they themselves benefit from it. It's a trip. Thanks for stopping through. You know what? Marginalized. I think that's funny. I did a talk called Marge Inalites because my name's Marge. I like 2 years. It's funny. That's no shit. There's a freaking synchronicity right there. Woo woo! Welcome to my tiny too. Yeah, so they want to make they create a society where people perpetuate, you know, going out to other land. Every single engagement, it messes people up because they realize what they've been told and what the reality of it are two different things. And it's all a business. It's all a business. And exchanging, I could breaking people's spirits and their souls and their minds and their body. Because you can break people's spirits by breaking down their body too. You can ruin people just by freaking making them mad because they're hurting all the time. That's another reason why people are suiciding themselves. I don't want to see, that's my cookies will help. My cookies would help with that. Mom's knocked out. I always put her out. Thanks for stopping through. I appreciate it. So, there's a lot of ways that people can heal themselves, and once it starts in the beginning by learning preventive maintenance. I hated my PE teachers. I hated PE because I would never dress out. Because I knew from the time I was I knew that from a very young age. See, I was sexualized from a very young age, and I knew that I thought that what girls were pretty, and I didn't want to be in there with them. And because chivalry isn't dead, I just didn't know what it was. But I knew that, and then so I just always opted, no, I'm not going to take a shower, that's cool. And then I failed PE. You know. Oh well. I learned the importance of it. Of physical fitness and health and stuff like that. Miss Minifee drilled that into me. You know. She was big on jump roping it. She was like my age now, but she could jump. I don't think I could because my back is so. But I'm pretty agile. I can like jump up and click my heels and stuff like that. And I love to dance. That's my exercise is dancing. I dance it out a lot. You know, because you gotta be careful what you do with your body. Because the older you get, I don't know. It's probably going to be different when people are. In 20 years, things, you know, people will be freaking and going chambers like freaking the Fifth Element and like rejuvenating their bodies and stuff. See, I don't know. I'm kind of old school. I'm of the old mindset that I'm not really into letting my body be invaded by, you know, I'm not big in people cutting me open and doing alternate stuff. I've had a few surgeries, and see, the thing of it is that anesthesia. Is you don't always wake up the same person you go to sleep as. You know, you're messing with people's frequency and ain't into it. You know, so. And I know it has its place. You know, I've never heard anybody get a back surgery and go, oh, I feel so much better. It's so much. No, because they freaking screw shit, like drill hardware. It ain't right. And then that, oh I got bone spurs in the bottom of my foot. And, I could only imagine hardware in me. My dad had hardware in him. No. Nope. Not for me. Anyway, I've been running my mouth a little too much, a little longer than I wanted to. Wanted to come on and say salutations and greetings and hope people they're staying off that crap freaking AI, imposed AI. That's what I call social media. That, if you make up stories and then get people to read the stories and believe the stories, well, the stories aren't true. That's artificial. And then people are basing their intellect on articles that they've read that aren't real. So, in my mind, artificial intelligence is more than just the obvious. See, when I went to college, that's why I went to the Air Force. I went to college for computers because I was like, all right, the world we're going to end when the infrastructure is going to be built. What's going to be needed? So I went. That's why I deliberately chose age mechanic in the Air Force, where I learn about all these different systems. And then it was computers, networking, cabling, all of it, right? Well, actually, it was a second choice. My first choice was I was going to be a pole climber, telephone pole climber. But I'm glad now that Operation Iraqi bullshit happened. I could have been target practice for snipers and shit like that. So I'm glad I ended up at Age Ranger. Anyway, so then I went and I took the IT route. And I intentionally, when they're like, okay, you got to plan your discipline, which way you want to go. And I was like, I'll go the support route because that's just who I am. I've always been the support role. And even when I was a busser at Chevy's Mexican restaurant in Redden, California, and so I picked the support route, and I intentionally stayed away from robotics and artificial intelligence. And the reason why I had no desire to be in those disciplines, because the kind of people that do those disciplines can make my third eye twitch and can't hang. See, I know, like, Jesse always talks about, like, you got to know the interview, and people talk about, like, following people you don't like to get a different perspective and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I think I get the gist of it. I ain't going to subject myself to it because I done it too much. I learned what I'm not going to subject myself to more bullshit. A lot of people are going to be flinging bullshit this way. But, energy's weird. I'm getting lazy and tired in my middle years. I'm gonna be 50 in a few years, and things are just now starting to get good. So I gotta pace myself and take it easy, not get too riled up. Because a lot of people, they get so riled up, man. You blow out your parts, you blow out your capacitors, your resistors, your electrical components in your body, man. That's what a stroke is. Mom had one. She was 38. I was 15. Thought she was having an aneurysm. I was all by myself in that one too. Anyway, God's carried me through a lot of stuff. He's continued. It's never ceased.